Here we are, start of the Scottish National Rally. Well, what a marvellous morning to introduce the wife to navigation rallying. Cold tyres and a damp wet day. Bloody marvellous. And we've got 400, well, nearly 500 miles to do. But anyway, our first port of call is the Green Welly in Tyndrum. It's about 20 miles that way. So we've just left checkpoint 1, Tyndrum, and we've now got about a 40-mile trip to Oban. Weather isn't improving in the slightest. I think I'm going to have a very miserable wife by the end of today. So the likelihood of her doing one of these things again with me might be fairly slim. But one can never tell. It's that horrible Scottish mizzle which just basically goes everywhere. Let's give the camera a clean. But it is pretty. You know, it might be wet in Scotland, but it is pretty. The weather's been fucking gorgeous all week and all. And the day we have a 500-mile day in Scotland, it's pissing it down. Typical. But yes, that's Mrs. Tony you can see in the background, which is why I'm not on the R65, because I would not inflict 500 miles on my R65 on my wife. She's done that too many times when we were kids. And I must admit, on the run up on the motorway yesterday, this was a lot more comfortable than the R65 would have been. So yeah, we're going to a filling station in Dunbeg, which is north of Oban at the moment. God, I love the roads in Scotland though. Bloody typical, eh? One of the nicest roads in the Scotlands, and I'm stuck behind a fucking Tupperware traffic jam. I don't know what's worse, them or bloody cyclists. Well, we're still on our way to Oban. Bonnie Bridge over there. But it's definitely got that west coast of Scotland look to it now. Rain's eased up a good bit. It's still raining a bit, but nothing to write home about, not like it was earlier. And hopefully Mrs. Tony on the back's enjoying it, but when I get to our next checkpoint, which is what, 4.1 miles to the turn in, so probably about 8 mile, I'll find out if she shouts at me or not. What do you think? Stupid idea. No, she wouldn't do that. She's learnt how to be a passenger again though. And she's a very, very good passenger, my wife. But obviously being a rider herself, it's sometimes hard to sort of turn the riding side of her brain off. We're just on our way from the second checkpoint now. We're heading up to Fort William, which is somewhere I'm pretty familiar with because I've spent a lot of time up there. You know, Glencoe and Fortville. It's 38 mile. I think it was 50 on the Matrix. But when I think about it, you know, the weather on the Welsh was pretty good. The weather for the Bikers Rally Lincolnshire was fantastic, and the weather on the National was great as well. So well, yeah, we're right in the heart of the Highlands here. They filmed a good bit of the first Highlander movie here, well, in this area I should say, but they jumped all over the Highlands to film that. Some of it was filmed on Skye, some of it in Glencoe, Some of it's on the sides of Loch Leven. Like I said, I spent a lot of time up here when I was younger. Me and my mate Chris used to do a lot of hill walking and climbing. Unfortunately, Chris died last year, which was all very, very sad. But yeah, that's Glencoe there. Unfortunately, you can't see a lot of it today because of the misty, horrible nastiness. We should be able to see the top of the Anakeegi Ridge really sticking in that gap there, but no such chance. But we're going to Fort William. Suddenly occurred to me, last time I was up here with you was when we were going to Skye, and that was 20 years ago. 1995. And I've still got that photo of you at Elgin in my wallet. So we're just coming into Fort William, aka Fort Bill. Keep thinking one of these days they'll upgrade this road, but they probably never will. And of course, if Scotland goes independent, they probably won't be able to afford to do it. You can certainly see where the extra tax pennies the Scots have to spend get spent, because the roads are so much better than they are in England. But you can do that when you get 20% per person more in terms of the amount of revenue the councils are permitted to spend. But anyway, that's verging on politics, and we don't want to start talking politics. Although I do think the Scots made the right decision. I've got quite a few ScotNat friends who disagree with me entirely on that, but I think just looking at the economics, they made the right decision. Anyway, here we go, Fort William. I've noticed there's a lot more gobbledygook signs up nowadays. It's getting almost as bad as bloody Wales. But we'll be stopping for petrol here, or if not here, Fort Augustus, one or the other. I'm definitely going to need petrol soon. And Fort William is a letter, so I might as well stop and get a receipt, since I know at least two of my numbered receipt points will be shut by the time I get round there. So Fort Augustus is a number, and so's Nairn, so I'll get me 3 numbered in, and then the 2 which I know will be shut by the time I get round there. It is not really that important. Bit of drizzle in the air, but it's not too bad, is it now? No. So we're in the Great Glen, heading towards Loch Ness. Look at that! You've got to love the roads in Scotland. When there's nothing on them, they are just gorgeous. Unfortunately, when you're tucked behind Tupperware terrorists and fucking coaches, the car drivers who don't know what they're fucking doing, then they're a nightmare. So this is Fort Augustus, and we are now looking for the Glen service station. So at the south end of Loch Ness now. Hopefully we will find a cafe or something, because I imagine wife is about ready for some food, and I know I am. Done alright today as our lass. Are you ready for something to eat? Are you ready for something to eat? Wonder if there's a cafe around. Got to buy something here anyway, because we need it for the checkpoint. Glen Morrison Arms Hotel, marvellous soup and sarnies. We've just had a bit of a break. And how are we doing then, love? Alright. Comfy? Yeah. Well, helps if put it in gear, doesn't it? So that was lunch over. Very nice it was too. Had a coronation chicken sarnie and a bowl of minestrone soup. Filled in my route card, so all is good. And now we're heading to the Cromarty Firth, to a place called Evanton, which is about 35 miles from here. And we've still got Loch Ness on our right. So that there's Loch Ness. largest freshwater lake in the United Kingdom, and of course home of the world famous monster, which is a good tourist attraction, I suppose. You might see the monster in the lake. Personally I doubt it, but never mind. Of course allegedly there's one in Windermere, Bownessy, but I think it was probably just a floating log. Anyhow, we're not doing bad. We're a touch behind time, but that's because there was a lot of traffic on the A82 up to Port Augustus. It's thinned out a good bit now, so we should be able to make some pretty good time. Well, we're now on our way to Nairn, which is about 30 miles that way. That's the Cromarty Firth on our left. Unfortunately, I couldn't get any more footage of Loch Ness because my battery died. But it didn't do bad considering I changed it to Tobin. So this is the A9. And we're definitely deep in the heart of the Jocklands up here. But there's a smashing bridge just coming up, so I'm going to leave it on till we get the other side of that. That's well fucked. Yeah, that's the Cromarty Firth. Or Firth, however you pronounce it. Don't know. It's been a lot of fun so far today, even with the weather. And the wife's not really started to twine yet, so that's a bonus. Right, we're looking for PJ Grant. We're looking for PJ Grant. Bloody typical that it takes us all the way through town. Yeah. Gonna hazard a guess at this one then. Yeah. We've made pretty good time so far. Sat-nav's telling us we're due to finish around about 10 o'clock. Have you had enough? Yeah. We can cut out in 4.1 miles if you've had enough. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah. Are you knackered? I'm cold now. Right. That's all I wanted to know. It's your shout, so... Yeah. I'd quite happy to carry on, but... it's not fair with you on the back. Right. This is gotta concentrate. It isn't easy. But this is what makes these events a challenge. And although we've cut our route short, I think we've got the miles. Well, we're on our way to Braemar and then somewhere beginning with B, then Perth, and then finally